Tonight, as wildfires drive thousands from their homes, some watch theirs burn.
We shared video camera footage from our cameras of our houses until each one sequentially lit on fire.
Personal stories and narrow escapes. Plus, our access to the military's airlift mission.
Man, you got a lot going on.
Yes, we can't wait around.
Also tonight, new pain for Canadian steel and aluminum industries. Donald Trump doubles tariffs.
So this is our SOS moment, I'm calling it. We need urgent action.
Many shot and killed near an aid distribution center in Gaza.
Gunshot wounds to the head, gunshot wounds to the chest.
The IDF says it targeted suspects, not civilians.
From CBC News, this is The National with Asha Tomlinson and Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault in Winnipeg.
Thanks for joining us. We're here again tonight because despite this brief respite of rain, there is a desperate fight underway in this province and across the prairies to save entire communities threatened by wildfires. And we know this is an especially difficult night for some Saskatchewan residents who say they watched their homes burn. At least part of the community of Denair Beach in northern Saskatchewan is now gone, and residents of La Ronge are sharing some frightening tales of escape as they rush to safety through smoke and flames. So both of those communities are in the center of Canada's current fire zone. More than 200 fires are burning in this country. About half of them are considered out of control, and more spark every day. The ferocity and speed of some of those fires has Saskatchewan's premier warning more people yet could be forced from their homes. Aaron Collins shows us the race to get out of La Ronge as the flames moved closer.
Just skimming the Saskatchewan tree line, this firefight already full on, ramping up.
Oh, it's a little hot.
Those on the ground using fire to fight fire, taking away the fuel these flames feed on. But as the fires advance on communities, people in La Ronge forced out. Those without their own ride wait in line to hitch one. After weeks on edge, people here finally moving.
Holy shit. There was lots of them. We went through, we left La Ronge at 5 o'clock. It's a 2.5-hour drive. We got here at midnight.
Hundreds of kilometers to the east near the Manitoba border, a similar fight, a battle some have already lost.
We all were just shocked because we didn't really even think that wildfire was that much of a risk.
This woman and her neighbors caught off guard, evacuated from their homes just in time.
We shared video camera footage from our cameras of our houses until each one sequentially lit on fire.
Out-of-control fires are burning across the prairies and in parts of BC and Ontario, too. A rough start to what's shaping up to be a long, hard wildfire season.
Many more fires, much more area burned, much more smoke, much more evacuations. It's a very active start to our fire season.
Across Western Canada, tens of thousands of people are on the move, evacuees fanning out across the country. Winnipeg's train station, a hub for many fleeing fires.
It was been a long, hectic couple days, a week anyways.
Officials say more people could be forced from their homes in the coming days. More help for them on the way. Ottawa joining Manitoba and Saskatchewan to match Red Cross donations.
I can't even imagine what people are going through when you have to evacuate really quickly and you don't even know where you lived is going to be standing when you go back home.
Of course, it will be the fires that determine the fate of those communities, and for now at least, those wildfires show little sign of letting up. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
People deciding on their own to get out of the area around La Ronge were told to go south to Prince Albert. That's where Alexander Silberman is tonight. And Alexander, I understand you've been talking with some of them about those journeys.
Adrian, evacuees from Ronge are sharing stories of panic and chaos. Fire threatened the community from the north rapidly, and people were scrambling to get out of town last night with the sky vivid orange. There were long lineups to get gas, and for those without a ride, long waits to get a seat on a school bus. Then when evacuees made it to the main road out of town, things got even scarier as they were directed to drive right by an active wildfire. I met Trevor Felix outside a hotel in Prince Albert where he had registered with the Red Cross. He described to me what it was like as he drove to safety.
It was super difficult to breathe, and we were just coughing and everything, and we were trying to open a window just to get some fresh air, but it wasn't even doing anything. We were all scared, but we couldn't do anything to really make it better, but just drive.
The visibility on the road was reduced to nearly zero, and Felix says it was chaos and confusion. He and his family were among many who thought the road wasn't passable and turned around, but they were sent back south again by emergency officials.
Alexander, you're talking about an incredibly stressful exit, and they may be safe, but many of these evacuees really need support now.
Well, Adrian, many evacuees are arriving at evacuation centers like this one, registering with the Red Cross and hoping to find a place to stay. This building is packed with people looking for a warm meal and support. Now they're waiting it out, hoping to return home soon, but not knowing when that might be and what they might find there.
All right, that's Alexander Silberman in Saskatchewan tonight. Thank you. So the military continues to run evacuation flights from remote communities affected by wildfires. Today, we joined a flight to Norway House, Manitoba, a place threatened by smoke more than fire. The mission, get people out, including residents of a long-term care home for whom the smoke is just too much. That story later in the hour. And this is a view of Canada's wildfire smoke from space. These NASA satellite images show it sweeping down into the eastern U.S. over the last few days. The Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service says Canadian smoke has also now reached Europe. So I'll have more from here in Winnipeg a little later in the hour. But for now, it's back to Asha in Toronto for the rest of the day's news. Asha?
Thanks, Adrian. Donald Trump has followed through on his latest tariff threat, signing an order to increase his steel and aluminum levy to 50%. Katie Simpson now with this trade war escalation and Canada's latest attempt at landing a deal.
Donald Trump is selling it as a way to boost American manufacturing jobs. His controversial decision proudly defended by the White House.
Because this is a president who doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk too, and he's delivering on his promises to bolster our steel and aluminum industries in this country.
Tariffs on steel and aluminum are doubling from 25% to 50% as of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. The change applying to nearly all U.S. trading partners, including Canada. The Canadian trade team spending another day in Washington for closed-door meetings in the hopes of eventually reaching some sort of trade truce. They emerged an hour later with their American counterpart offering up a few smiles for the cameras waiting outside.
I brought Secretary Lutnick to see the Canadian journalist.
Can you come down and talk to us? How does the meeting go?
I've got to run, but I just came to say hello.
Still, it seems it could be a while before there's a breakthrough.
So we're working it through. It's going to take a bit of time, but we had positive conversations. I think we both came out feeling good.
And every time we have these conversations, I think we deepen our understanding of each other's positions. And I'm hopeful, and I'm hopeful that we can get to the best outcome for Canadians.
Canada is just one of dozens of countries trying to cut a trade deal with the Americans. Trump set a deadline of July 9th to reach agreements with most U.S. trading partners.
In the United Kingdom.
The only thing announced so far is a framework for a possible agreement with the UK, which both countries have tried to frame as a done deal.
This is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries.
With pressure mounting, the Trump team recently sent letters to trading partners, demanding they make their best offer by Wednesday, outlining the concessions they're willing to make.
This letter was simply to remind these countries that the deadline is approaching and the president expects good deals.
One exception from the tariff escalation is the UK. Its steel and aluminum tariffs will stay at 25% until their trade agreement is finalized. At that time, the UK expects the rate to go to zero.
So, Katie, while those negotiations are still ongoing, this administration has shown its trade policy can change quickly.
Yeah, the thing to watch for next, is Trump going to back down? His strategy is so erratic, investors have even come up with that phrase TACO, which stands for Trump always chickens out. Will he back off, or might he be even more motivated to stick with it, given that criticism?
Katie Simpson in Washington, thank you. Prime Minister Mark Carney is responding tonight, calling these tariffs unlawful and unjustified, while promising all of the money collected from retaliatory tariffs will go to Canadian workers. And as Nisha Patel shows us, there's concern that aid may be needed sooner rather than later.
Tariffs have already hit Canadian steel producers hard. They say shipments to the U.S. are down 30%. Hiking tariffs to 50% means the damage could get even worse.
We basically consider the U.S. market closed, completely closed, doors slammed shut, if you will, to Canadian steel. So this is our SOS moment, I'm calling it. We need urgent action.
The steel industry employs tens of thousands in cities like Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie. Nearly 700 workers have been laid off so far.
I expect dramatic acceleration of production level loss and job loss.
More than 90% of Canada's aluminum exports are sent south of the border. While big producers can pass on higher costs, aluminum parts makers are losing business.
Their U.S. exports are going down significantly. Those who kept their exports were basically biting the bullet by cutting their margins.
It's not just raw materials. These tariffs will also be applied to steel and aluminum components in most products. Toronto-based New Age sells garage cabinets and outdoor kitchens. It's trying to absorb some costs to keep U.S. customers.
It's a big jump, but at the same time, we're a very agile company.
The company faced tariffs during the first Trump administration back in 2018. Those lasted about a year.
This has been done in a very quick manner, which is that's the most challenging thing. But it is what it is. You just got to roll with the punches. Everybody's dealing with the same thing.
Some businesses will weather this trade war better than others. It's worth noting the 2018 tariffs were lower, 10% for aluminum, 25% for steel. So this time around, the impact could be much deeper. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Elon Musk is taking a public jab at his former boss, calling a Trump-endorsed spending bill outrageous. On social media, Musk went on to say the bill is a disgusting abomination, adding shame on those who voted for it. This comes just days after Musk left his official role at the White House, one that was focused on budget cuts. The bill features large tax cuts and increased government debt. A sweeping new federal bill here in Canada proposes to beef up border security. Among other things, it looks to curb the flow of drugs and overhaul the asylum process. Evan Dyer explains what's in it and what's behind it.
This morning, I introduced Bill C-2, the Strong Borders Act.
The bill proposes a number of changes to Canada's criminal code, police powers, and the way asylum claims are processed. A big part of it is about fentanyl.
Will ensure Canada has the right tools to keep our borders secure, combat transnational organized crime and fentanyl, and disrupt illicit financing.
Canada has been under pressure on fentanyl.
It's pouring in from China through Mexico and Canada, and they've got to stop it.
There are a number of elements in the bill that have been irritants for the U.S., so we are addressing some of those issues.
Public Safety Minister Gary Ananda-Sangari says the bill will give Canadian border guards more authority to search goods intended for export. The U.S. border czar has already been briefed, and Canada's envoy to Trump, Dominic LeBlanc, is selling the bill in Washington. The U.S. is embroiled in its own immigration drama with daily raids by immigration agency ICE, as its ambassador to Canada explained.
We're now tracking down people who are murderers, thieves, and rapists who are in the country illegally.
Refugee lawyers say the Canadian bill mimics aspects of U.S. law.
In the U.S., if you're in the country for more than a year, you can't seek refugee protection.
The government is asking other parties to support the bill, but conservatives aren't sure it will be enough for Trump.
Has he listened to anything? Of course not. He'll do it his way. We've seen what he's done in the last 3 months.
I think that the title of the act is for show for the Trump administration.
There's a lot of doubt still about exactly what this 120-page bill means in practice, but all agree it's a major overhaul that goes far beyond the border itself. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Mayors from 15 Canadian border communities have signed a joint letter to the federal government saying duty-free stores across the country are in immediate need of federal funding.
The duty-free business in our community is generally driven by those who are going over for sporting events, for leisure travel, and that is what you're seeing decline dramatically.
An association representing 32 stores says the trade war has led to revenue losses of up to 80%, adding some locations are at risk of closing permanently. The group didn't specify how much cash is needed, but Sarnia's mayor says about 3,000 jobs are at stake. An Ontario judge has ruled the sale of the Hudson's Bay trademark to Canadian Tire can go ahead. The deal also includes the Bay name and those iconic stripes. The judge called the $30 million deal the best possible outcome for the Bay. The company recently applied for creditor protection and closed all 96 of its stores countrywide. Aid distribution centers in Gaza will be closed tomorrow. The U.S.-backed group in charge of them says they're being updated, and Israel's military is warning residents to avoid areas around them, declaring them combat zones. It comes after days of deadly violence. Tom Perry has the latest from Jerusalem.
Palestinians once again coming under fire near a site that was supposed to offer relief. An aid distribution center in southern Gaza where hungry crowds gathered in hopes of receiving food. I went for a kilo of flour, says Kamel Mana. Then there were gunshots. I was injured and there was still shooting. As Palestinian families mourn the dead, medical teams struggle to save lives.
The doctors here that have been dealing with this for almost 2 years now are overwhelmed. They're stretched. They don't have the supplies they need. Multiple casualties from Rafah food distribution center. Gunshot wounds to the head, gunshot wounds to the chest.
Israel's military says it is not targeting civilians, that its troops opened fire after first firing warning shots toward what it calls suspects.
And as some of the suspects continued, despite these warning shots, advancing towards the troops in a threatening manner, further fire was directed near these specific individuals.
Gaza's health ministry says 31 Palestinians were killed Sunday in the same area, again waiting for aid. Israel denies any involvement in those deaths, but the UN is demanding answers.
There must be a prompt and impartial investigation into each of these attacks and those responsible held to account.
All this coming as civilians in Han Yunis are forced out by an Israeli evacuation notice as Israel's military continues its fight against Hamas. The UN says these incidents show Israel's efforts to control the flow of aid into Gaza aren't working and are putting more lives at risk, reminding the Israeli government willfully blocking food and other vital supplies could constitute a war crime. Tom Perry, CBC News, Jerusalem.
A new first-of-its-kind facility in BC to treat people with complex mental health disorders.
Some are unable to make decisions about their own care and may pose a risk to themselves or others.
Could involuntary care keep communities safer? Next. Plus, Nova Scotia's towering Cliffs of Fundy is in danger of losing an international designation.
If I lose that, then my future is kind of uncertain.
What a yellow card rating could mean for the popular tourist draw.
And we'll take to the skies over Manitoba on board a wildfire evacuation flight, moving residents of a senior's home out of harm's way.
Get them to relax, and we're trying to explain to them what they're doing on the plane.
We're back in 2 minutes.
We have breaking news tonight about a shooting incident in a Toronto neighborhood. Police say a man has been killed and 5 others taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Paramedics say the victims are between the ages of 18 and 40. Police say many people were involved in this shooting, and a command post has now been set up as the investigation continues. A new mental health facility in British Columbia will treat some patients against their will. It's part of the province's push to tackle a growing crisis. Georgie Smythe explains how it works and why some say it's not the only answer.
This is new last resort mental health care in BC. Cottages with light-filled rooms and communal spaces, all set inside a 12-foot fence.
At Alouette Homes, they will receive specialized, holistic care, including psychiatric treatment, psychosocial support, and 24/7 personalized, person-centered care in a safe and home-like setting.
It's a secure, unique and first-of-its-kind facility for people with long-term, very complex mental health disorders who could also be suffering from substance use or a brain injury.
All of our doors have this feature where if somebody locks themselves in or barricades themselves in, we can actually still access from outside.
It'll serve 18 men in involuntary care admitted against their will under the Mental Health Act of BC.
Those folks are the ones who not only would be ranting and raving, but would be really exposing themselves and others to an unacceptable degree of harm.
The province says it's not a solution, but a start to confronting BC's growing mental health emergency as random violence reignites a conversation about crime and people in crisis. Last month, Alberta passed the Compassionate Intervention Act to force people into care when substance use makes them a danger to themselves or others. Advocates say governments shouldn't forget about early interventions too.
This is a crisis situation. They are looking for help that isn't always there. When they do get help, it can be fleeting help. It can be help where they revolve through a series of revolving doors.
BC has also promised an overhaul of the Mental Health Act as it tries to modernise its response to this deeply rooted challenge. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
A recent yellow card rating for Nova Scotia's towering Cliffs of Fundy has the internationally recognized site on shaky ground.
We've been motivated to really kind of hone in and focus.
Why the United Nations warning could lead to lost tourism dollars. Next.
Plus, a first-hand look at an airborne wildfire evacuation as we board a flight to safety for some Manitoba seniors.
We got to protect our elders. They're our knowledge keepers. We want to keep them around.
Taking to the air to escape harm's way, The National breaks down the stories shaping your world. Next.
A pair of UNESCO sites in Atlantic Canada known for their geological significance are at risk of losing their designation. Kayla Hounsell now with why and what's at stake.
We are in the Cliffs of Fundy geopark.
Anna Hergert takes people on custom tours in Nova Scotia's UNESCO Global Geopark. She worries that rare designation could be at risk.
It's put this area on the map. For me, that was one of the main reasons to settle in this area.
UNESCO geoparks must have geology and culture of international importance. The towering Cliffs of Fundy are steeped in Mi'kmaq history, boasting the highest tides in the world and telling the story of the moment the world's supercontinent broke apart. The area received its UNESCO designation in 2020, one of only 5 in Canada and 229 on the planet.
This is one of the most exciting things that I believe has happened in West Colchester and West Cumberland ever.
Neat, right? Not so fast. UNESCO geoparks are re-evaluated every 4 years, and when Cliffs of Fundy was tested, it received a yellow card, a warning of sorts. 2 years to get things back in shape or lose its designation.
It would have been lovely to have just received the green card, but in a way I think it's good that we've been motivated to really kind of hone in and focus.
UNESCO recommended securing funding, putting up more signage, improving infrastructure and access roads, and better sharing the area's story. The Discovery Geopark in Newfoundland and Labrador received a similar report card. So did Per Se in Quebec, only that geopark has since gotten its green card back.
It's really just continue working with your community, showing UNESCO how important the community is for you.
So you can see that this little bridge up here is thinning out.
Hergert says potentially losing the advertising that comes with the designation is concerning.
If I lose that, then my future is kind of uncertain.
But she says there have been a lot of improvements, which is a good thing because time's up. The evaluators are coming back next month. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Lower Economy, Nova Scotia.
Now it's time to break down the stories shaping our world.
We've tried to take care of them. We've get them to relax.
The Herculean effort to move people from wildfire danger.
We got to protect our elders. They're our knowledge keepers.
Almost a straight shot north of Winnipeg lies the small community of Norway House. It's a hub for thousands of evacuees coming from all over to get out. For now, Norway House's worry isn't fire, it's smoke. And for the residents of a long-term care center there, that has become too much. The Canadian military called in to help with an advanced medical team on board its Hercules. They gave us access to their critical mission, getting the neediest out of harm's way. Hard enough to get people out when you have to worry about getting in. The flight crew from 8 Wing Trenton trying to land in Norway House know this is tricky. Thick smoke, high winds, a short gravel runway. But it works, and is their arrival ever welcome? Inside the tiny terminal, among those evacuating, more than a dozen residents from a long-term care home. Most have dementia. All are getting out, with care workers right beside them every disorienting step.
We've tried to take care of them. We get them to relax, and we're trying to explain to them what they're doing on the plane, and but most of them, it's hard. Understanding is a barrier.
The workers leaving their own families behind so they can be with these most vulnerable people. What about your own family?
They're at home right now, so I don't know what's going to happen to them maybe. And if they're going to get evacuated, I'm not sure. So
it's a lot of stress to have. The threat here in Norway House right now isn't necessarily the fire itself. It's the thickening, choking smoke.
Home's name is Pinawachi.
Councillor Dion Clark says all these residents are heading to a Winnipeg care home that's owned by Norway House, so they will all be cared for, must be cared for.
I'm thankful for our staff and for the understanding of the families of our residents. They understand we got to protect our elders. They're our knowledge keepers. We want to keep them around and make sure they're healthy.
Clark shared some videos with us from their facilities, anticipating that the fires could get closer and more severe. They've been cutting trenches, soaking what they can, but there may be only so much they can do.
We're trying our best to be proactive to fight the fire.
Man, you got a lot going on.
Yes, we can't wait around. We got to make sure we do the extra steps ourselves.
And the people in this room represent an exhausted community that has taken in thousands from fire-affected areas, fed, clothed, and housed them all, including the Spence family from Cross Lake. What about you? This is a family of 7 who fled with all their belongings in a camper van, but after a few days here, they've been told they're on a list to go to Niagara Falls, Ontario, with just a few bags and lots of questions.
Hopefully everything works out for us.
Niagara Falls is a long way from home, though.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it's new to us. It's new to everybody. It's new to a lot of people from my home community don't even leave the town. So everybody's in panic mode, it's shocked, don't know what to do.
They have to move fast here. There are more evacuations to do this day, but this is not a fast process. It requires patience. All of these people require caring and some extra kindness. Hard to imagine what this feeling would be like from their perspective.
Hello?
Hello. So what are you about to do? You gonna get on a big plane?
You meet the Hercules?
In the Hercules. Yeah. Oh yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's go, baby. Pretty easy to see how 5-year-old Colton Forbister is taking it all in.
Yay!
To be able to fly on a big, noisy Hercules, definitely fun if you're little and don't really yet understand why this is happening. But for everyone else, the stress is real. The long-term care residents may have a place to go to, but where the support workers and others are going is less clear.
So not only are they trying to get people from the long-term care residents out with the Hercules, but that's a medevac plane that is here to take some of the more vulnerable who can't handle a trip like this one.
Earplugs on all. Medical staff at the ready, checking on all of them. And a ride that will be a first for most. Whether this becomes a pattern in their lives over the summer and the summers ahead may be entirely out of their hands.
A staggering number of people are needed to sort through a crisis like this one, but the buck of accountability stops at the desk of the Premier. I had the chance to speak with Wab Kinew in his office late this afternoon, starting with the calls to house more evacuees right here in Winnipeg. Premier, you know there have been calls from some for you to use the Emergency Measures Act to free up hotel rooms in Winnipeg. Do you think you're going to have to do that?
I think that the response from the professionals managing the emergency has been stellar. There's such professionalism and compassion. And so for us, looking at the situation today, we got a few hundred hotel rooms open. So it's really about trying to make sure that we match the people who need them with those spaces. Once we get through that process of matching folks in the coming days, of course, we can reassess. But at this point, we know we have thousands of rooms in Southern Ontario, a few hundred here in Winnipeg, and we're doing our best because I know it's been a lot. People have been very patient in terms of making their way to safety, sleeping in cots, and so we want to help.
When you have people going to Niagara Falls, Ontario, though, it's a long way away.
Yeah.
And is it your sense, though, that they shouldn't have to go there? I mean, is the aim to bring them all back to Manitoba?
Yeah, we want everyone to come home once it's safe for them to do so. The situation right now is a continuation of what we've seen earlier in the wildfire season. So we had evacuees from northwestern Ontario, Wabsumung Independent Nation in particular, come to Manitoba because there wasn't room in their province at the time. And then they made their way to Niagara Falls, again, because there was more amenities and ability to support a large-scale evacuation like that. So I think all of us are just trying to respond to the situation. Here in Manitoba, the thing that's so novel, so new, is that whereas typical fire seasons we'd had one region at a time, you know, this year in the west, that year in the east, and so on, this year it's everywhere at once. And so the scale is comparable only to the flood of '97 in terms of the emergency response, and we're managing as we can. And of course, having Manitobans step up to help has been one of the great ways that we've made it through this.
You know, sometimes when we've been to wildfires in the past, you see people stuffing their cars with their belongings and driving to safety. But over the last week, it's been a lot of people getting on planes with a bag.
Yeah.
So they're going to need more than shelter because they might be up for weeks. We don't know.
Yeah.
What's your sense of what more you can do or will do to help them with what they need? Because it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're there. The provincial program is called Emergency Social Services, and that's financial assistance to help people who need food, shelter, the basic needs met. And when we're talking about folks who have been through such a trying ordeal, one of the things that's really jumping out a few days into sheltering folks and making sure that they can find their way to safety are the mental health and the psychosocial supports. Folks have just been through a very trying experience at the least, in some cases a traumatic experience. And so we're also stepping up with those supports to make sure that people, if it's crisis stabilization, or maybe it's just a more tailored intervention to their need, that we're giving them what they need to be able to be of sound mind as well as body.
What about needs in terms of fighting the fire? I mean, the chief from Puck was saying that, you know, it's his impression that they don't have everything that they need, that at one point they felt like they were left to fight the fire with nothing better than a garden hose. So What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, we're working with all of the communities across Manitoba who are requesting equipment. And so we're trying to supply a broad-based effort here. Puckatawagan in particular, the fire chief, I was on a Zoom call with him on Sunday, and he said, give me these Mark III water pumps and give me 600 feet of hose. I got off the call with him, put the request in right away, and I know that those materials were delivered to him yesterday. And I think one of the things that I've seen in this response is typically in previous disasters, it's okay, First Nations go this way and other Manitobans go that way. This year, everyone's working together. And so to see Manitobans stepping up to preserve lives and livelihoods and homes in that way has been a sign that the province is uniting together to get through this difficult period.
Is there something about the people who've had to flee, or the act of fighting the fire, or the fires themselves, that you just can't shake?
There are so many stories of heroism, which are the ones that come to mind in the first instance. You have the military pilots who were flying Chinooks with evacuees on board who had to do emergency landings to keep those folks safe. Like, that is unreal because of zero visibility due to smoke. And they set those huge helicopters down safely and got those people out. We lost people in the Lac du Bonnet region, and hearing the stories of heroism from that part of the province, which is already, weeks ago that we're talking about here, is really stunning. A helicopter pilot and one of our provincial employees jumping out of that bird, saving people literally from islands and open fields in the midst of a flame that tragically claimed lives, and then flying them back to safety and then going back into harm's way to save more lives. So there are so many stories like that I think we all need to just recognize the huge scale of what this emergency has been. We're hoping that the weather will provide some help, but in the meantime, we have each other. We got Manitobans, we got Canadians, we got folks who are stepping up.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate that.
Coming up, a transformative change in the lives of India's salt farmers, compliments of the sun. We'll tell you how solar power is improving the future of these hardworking harvesters. Next. To extract the salt from one of the world's biggest sources, Indian farmers have always relied on dirty, unhealthy, and expensive diesel. But solar power has transformed their lives and their livelihoods. Our South Asia correspondent Salima Shivji now with some of their stories.
The work is beyond grueling. Hours on end under the blistering sun, deep in this arid desert in Kutch, at the western tip of India's Gujarat state. All to cultivate the only treasure here, salt. Devabai Sawadya has been working this salt pan since he was a child. He'll one day teach the skills to his grandson too. But Devabai has an edge over previous generations, the ability to harness solar power. These two panels that have completely changed his life. We finally make a profit, he says, after years of toiling. Before the solar panels, there was barely enough money to eat, and not a rupee more. It's solar energy that now powers the pumps digging deep into the bone-dry earth here for the massive amounts of water needed to cultivate the salt. Diesel used to dominate the lives of these salt farmers. Devabai would start the salt season already heavily in debt, borrowing thousands of dollars to buy barrels of the toxin-emitting fuel just to be able to work his pumps. Sputtering machines that ran 24 hours a day, spewing exhaust. Now this one is used only as a backup at night or when it's cloudy.
Because of the smoke?
The constant smoke from the diesel machines would make us sick and cause us so many more problems, he says, but no longer with solar taking over.
Easy
Easy, clean, and saving the family thousands. With the diesel pump stifled, Devabai's wife Jessie Ben washes up in quiet reflection. She's grateful that so much has changed, even if life camping out in makeshift tents in the desert for months on end to harvest the salt pans is still tough. We built a bigger home in town and threw a big wedding for our son, she says. And still we have enough money left over for our setup here. The family is no longer begging for loans from salt traders. That's why solar panels have multiplied all across this vast expanse of white salt plains, where much of India's table salt is made. The world's third largest producer of the staple, taking full advantage of the blaring desert heat and reaping the benefits.
This salt was harvested later than usual, and it's actually better quality, and that was made possible because of the move to solar power. The panels bought with a massive government subsidy from both the state and federal governments that cut the price by 80%.
An initiative very much in line with India's push to invest in renewable energy. The idea is to slowly wean the country off its reliance on coal. Emphasis on slowly. Delhi has been adamant, despite global criticism, that it will still use the dirtiest of fossil fuels for many years. India needs coal for more than 70% of all the power it generates. So incentives to persuade Indians to switch to solar power are a win for the environment and cost-effective for the government, prolonging the salt season and increasing production.
20,000 rupees for one barrel. Wow.
Even so, this NGO worker says it took years of convincing before the authorities signed on. But he persisted, listing the benefits, both financial and social. With diesel generators, the farmers were trapped near their tents at all times, Bharatbhai Somera says, forced to constantly monitor the machines. The region's new reliance on solar power has repaired community bonds, he says, allowing the farmers more freedom of movement. A better life, even if there's still intense hardship and isolation. Farmers camp in rickety tents for the entire 8-month salt season. There are no clinics, no family doctors. And this abandoned bus in the middle of the vast desert is actually a makeshift school. The children tucked inside are so keen to learn, they're quizzing each other before the teacher even arrives. Jerabai the Macha is fully focused on building a better life for his 4 school-age children. I have a new tractor, a new house, a motorcycle, he says, all because I switched to solar panels several years ago. Before that, we couldn't even afford to buy a bicycle. Far from the desert in his village, he takes me past his old home before rounding the corner to show off his new one. All shiny bricks and much more room. I'm benefiting, he says proudly, making more than double what I used to. A new reality that was foreign to the salt farmers who came before him. Many here say their grandfathers had lives filled with sadness in this desert. But now, after solar, there's pure joy.
That is all from me here in Toronto. Now let's head back to Adrian in Winnipeg.
Next, a community organization lends a paw to pets affected by the wildfires.
They have a better sensory side to them than we do, so they must have known something was up.
Their efforts to aid animals in our moment. You're looking here at Pepper and Blue, 2 pretty great pups whose owners recently had only half an hour to evacuate as the wildfires crept ever closer. Well, fortunately, a community organization called Parachutes for Pets stepped up to give animals like Pepper and Blue the supports they need. So tonight, kindnesses amid the chaos makes our moment.
I believe firmly that pets are part of the family. They have a better sensory side to them than we do, so They must have known something was up. A lot of people will risk their lives to stay if they can't take their pets. And there's a little bit of that going on in Manitoba right now because a lot of the airlines aren't flying with pets. We offer pet food, pet supplies, assistance with any medication, because, you know, some of these people had less than an hour to pack and get out. A lot of people have said to us, people that are involved in emergency evacuations and whatnot have said, a few years ago, taking pets was kind of out of the question because there was no organizations or agencies that could really help. The sleepless nights, the long days, it makes it worth it because I know it might sound weird to some people, but they smile, right? They're happy, they're excited, and a lot of whimpering, but happy whimpering. They're just so excited, and it's just, it's what keeps you going through the hard times.
So this organization is based in Calgary, has spots in Edmonton. They set up satellite locations in lots of places where there's need. There are other types of organizations here in Winnipeg, and you can tell that people are doing this now, realizing they're going to have to keep doing it all summer. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the Nationals YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault in Winnipeg. Take care.